So the European elections have come and gone. Yay. I want to sound more excited. I really do. However, I don't really care about them. But coverage of it, the fallout of it, is interesting, along with those who were successful and unsuccessful. So perhaps first let's talk about those who we know were running for a seat and were either successful or not, by starting off with Karl of Akkad, who, as many of you know, was standing for UKIP. In the lead up to this, there was a bit of a heavy smear campaign going on with regards to UKIP, with regards to some of their positions on certain sensitive subjects. And of course UKIP just in general, since we can trace it back far enough, have always been regarded as the racist party. Karl did a lot of debates, interviews, and went on national television, where he was attacked repeatedly, over and over and over and over again. I'm actually somewhat surprised he still stood firm on some of his beliefs. I'm not going to criticise him for that. I admire the fact that even though this is something we should never have been doing in the first place, he was still willing to try. And I know many people have taken to Twitter to mock him for trying, and summarily losing, because it's funny, and I'll admit that, it is quite amusing. I would say that at least he tried, which is a lot more than can be said for many people who just moan, but never actually do anything proactively to try and defeat whatever it is they're standing up against. To Karl of Akkad, commiserations. You have a very strong YouTube career, so you can at least continue with that. Or potentially stand as an MP in 3 years, potentially, depending on whether or not the UKIP party is still a party. The results are alarming for them in the EU, since all their seats are now gone, their influence in Europe erased, but replaced by a pro-Brexit party and a rise in some pro-Remain parties. Whether or not they can deliver is a different matter, but we'll get to that in a moment. Perhaps the coverage should be what I address now. The BBC had the majority share of the coverage that was worth anyone's time, and as is tradition, the BBC was remarkably biased. They are renowned for their bias. In fact, even though they have gone out of their way in the past to distance themselves from subjects where they could be accused of being biased, they still manage to do it because of the guests they get on. Last night's coverage was quite heavily leaning towards pro-Remain people. Alistair Campbell was probably the worst one for it, where at very rare moments did he address the fact that the Brexit party won 28 seats, and instead focused on this rise of pro-Remainers in the form of the Green Party, Labour, which we'll get to in a second, and the Liberal Democrats. The SNP, of course, as well, did exactly what everyone expected with regards to winning seats in Scotland, which naturally, totally, like everything really means, sarcasm sign here somewhere, that they are totally going to stand on a platform of pro-EU Remain crap. When looking at the map, yes, it looks like they really dominated here. But as you can see, the turquoise of the Brexit party annihilates everything else. It's like a virus. Liberal Democrats have a fair share in the more densely populated areas. Labour as well. The Greens, well, okay. Moving on to the voting by region. Percentage share somewhat. In the northeast, the Brexit party absolutely annihilated everything else. In London, the Liberal Democrats and Labour took the top spots, but Brexit wasn't far behind them. In the east of England, Brexit party again annihilates. Wales, Brexit party annihilates. Oh, West Midlands, Brexit party annihilates. Yorkshire and Humber, Brexit party annihilates. South West, do you see where I'm going with this yet, or should I continue? We've only got 3 left. Brexit party annihilates, although the chart is a bit inaccurate in how it's portrayed it. South East, Brexit party annihilates. North West, Brexit party did quite well. Labour weren't too far behind, but they still annihilated. Well done to the Brexit party. Unsurprising you were going to win, but it's worth now pointing out something about those who think this is a pro-Remain thing, with so many parties being pro-Remain winning seats, as far as percentage share of the overall votes go. Because this is where it gets silly. Many have said that perhaps, and Emily Thornberry is guilty of this, we should campaign now, or Labour should, on a pro-Remain manifesto. Right. Well, there's a key fundamental difference that we're going to come up to now, because people don't really care about these elections. They don't care about their local council elections. It's just too many elections. They don't care. They care about the general election, and the turnout for that is typically higher. A lot higher than the turnout for this European election. So this is going to be quite interesting. I'm going to now read off what the turnout for each of them was. In Northern Ireland, the turnout was 45.1%. In South West England, 40.5%. London, 41%. Scotland, 39.9%. South East England, 39.4%. Wales, 37.3%. Yorkshire and Humber, 33.5%. North West England, 33.1%. North East England, 32.7%. West Midlands, 31.1%. The fact is, this does not indicate anything really that's pro-Brexit, only that Nigel Farage was able to get enough people interested enough to vote for it. In fact, this is so low, it's embarrassing. And I would point out that this is actually an indicator, a very big indicator, of how bad things have gotten as the years have gone by. But in the UK, because the turnout has always been lower, this is actually an increase, kind of. If we go to the European Parliament website, where they have the statistics for all the previous elections, our turnout was as low as 24% in 1999, and it's never gone higher than 38%. This will probably put it in the 40s, but the overall statistics turnout shows a trend of going down anyway, where it started off at 61% and has now gone down to 42.6%. People are getting less and less interested in this, and yet these people are making up a remarkable amount of rules that people are simply having to obey. You could say, oh, well, maybe more people should vote for it and then, have a greater say, but that's not really what they want. I saw a lot of people say that those who don't vote don't have a say on what the, quotes, unelected bureaucrats, end quote, have to say on our behalf. And I think when people were tweeting that, they didn't understand that we're voting for MEPs. So yeah, we're not voting for the bureaucrats. We're only voting for the MEPs and not those who are selected by others and commissioned. You want to disenfranchise people? Go ahead. Say snide little comments like that instead of actually focusing on the fact that the turnout is getting less and less, and yet this same engine is begging for more sovereign powers to be given to them. Anyway, I don't know why I've rambled on for as long as I have, because quite frankly we should not be in this. We should not be doing this. This is embarrassing on many different levels. It's embarrassing because we were meant to have left on March 29th. It is embarrassing because this just gives Ramonas an excuse to keep Ramoning. It is embarrassing because Brexit was supposed to have been delivered and the government failed because, and I found out very recently, David Cameron was helping with the negotiations. Maybe that was why. I did believe perhaps that he might have done a better job than Theresa May, but I don't believe anyone could get it through Parliament. With the Conservatives now in disarray and fighting over who should be PM and everyone rallying against Boris because he would actually do a no deal, this is all getting quite embarrassing for me. Anyway, I have things to do, I should go and do that. Over on the Moisky Reads channel I uploaded the book. It's the next instalment of the H.P. Lovecraft series. I will link it below if you are at all interested. Also, tomorrow I will be uploading a collaboration with Sinatra Says. I will link his channel below as well now, and tomorrow he's but a minnow and could do with your support. So I hope you'll have a lovely Monday, and thank you all for listening.